In this video, you will discover if you should lower your standards for a man. Hi, I'm Antia, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man Method. And why don't you push that subscribe button so you get notified for more juicy videos coming your way. Also, if you haven't done so already, please make sure to take the Magnetize Your Man quiz for more personalized strategies for you. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, it can be extremely tempting to consider to lower your standards when you meet a man who's just not stepping up to the plate. I know how it can feel. You can feel disappointed, frustrated, and so fed up that you're like, well, you know what? Like, it's just not gonna work. Like, I just gotta lower my standards, And so, should you lower your standards, right? And my answer is, of course, short and sweet. We could just wrap it here, which is, of course, not. But let's actually talk about why you should not lower your standards. Because I get it. I know what you want to say. Antia, look. When you get into a relationship, you have to make compromises, right? When you get married, right? Marriage is not for punks, right? That's what Pastor Calvin on Married at First Sight always says, right? I don't really agree with that, right? It's also about really being mindful in the selection of your partner. And this, of course, comes to hello, how much are you holding your own standards, right? One of my favorite books is Why Men Love Bitches. Now, I don't know how many of you have actually read that book, because I know I get so much this story, I just need to be aloof. Okay, I just need to be a bitch. No, that's not the point of the book at all. The point of the book is actually saying, hey, make sure you hold your own in a relationship. That he's not only going to want to connect with you and have sex with you, right? But he also is respecting you, right? Men are actually marrying women that they're respecting, that are looking up to. They're marrying their queen. So guess what? How can they look up to somebody who just lowered their standards? So almost like saying, okay, well, hey, we're meeting at the lowest common denominator, right? Now, what do you hear men say so often when there's a wedding, when there's a proposal? You're making me a better man. Now, how do you think that occurs? By you maintaining your high standards, right? In reality, he wants to treat you like the prize, right? He wants to work for the results, so to say, right? And this is not about playing games at all. This is really about you becoming connected to what are your values? What are your standards? For example, right? Your standards he needs to have a certain level of personal development. He needs to know who Tony Robbins is. And this is actually a funny story. I went to a speed dating event when I was single, and this guy was trying to explain to me why he knows Tony Robbins, which made actually really clear to me that he doesn't know Tony Robbins, because when you know Tony Robbins, we don't have to justify who that guy is. You know what I mean? That was an example, right? So I would have little quote unquote tests like that, right? Can he actually measure up to my standards, right? Is he intellectually stimulating, right? Can he actually hold with me, right? When I have emotional breakdowns, right? Is he there for me, right? So that was true for my husband after we met. And within a few weeks, I actually had a little bit of an emotional breakdown. And we women, we always test, right? And so one of my standards was, that he's actually emotionally mature, which means that he doesn't become reactive to my breakdown, but rather he's okay, what's here, right? What's possible? What's the opportunity, right? And also allowing himself to be broken open as well emotionally, right? Another standard you could have is that he pays for all your meals, right? That it could be standard that you have, that you get treated like a queen, that he pulls the chair for you. That's for some women, that's so normal. That doesn't even need to be mentioned. And for some of you, you need to actually remember that. And this is actually one of your standards. So what I would actually say is write down, what are your standards, right? And then actually noticing, am I lowering my standards, right? Because this guy doesn't really understand what it means to be a, what's the word, chivalry? I don't know but basically what it means to be a gentleman, right? I sometimes, I'm telling you, originally I'm from Germany, in case you can't tell, And sometimes even after being 15 years in the US, some English words are still kind of like eluding me here, so to say, right? So that's like definitely a big piece, right? And this is also, by the way, preventing that you are actually going to fall for like a narcissist, somebody who's emotionally unavailable, or even emotionally abusive. Because look, for example, a narcissist, he will definitely work on you, breaking you down so that you lower your standards, right? That you don't ask so much of him, that he can put the shame on you, that he can gaslight you. So when you keep your standards high, right, you'll be actually more like a narcissist repellent, right? Because the narcissist will literally say, this is too much work. You know what I mean? I want to get all the attention. And if I now need to put in all this work now, no, thank you. Great. Because you don't want anything to do with the narcissist. So there's actually so many reasons why you should obviously not lower your standards. Now, I also worked with a couple a few years ago, and she was like into personal development and he was not. And there was really this sort of discussion, like, should I lower my standards, right? And it really felt like she was sort of like leaving herself. Now, a lot of women that come to me have already this traumatic experience of having to leave themselves when they were little, right? Because like they didn't get the attention from their parent, particularly from their emotionally unavailable parent or from their narcissistic parent. So they already have that trauma to betray themselves, right? So now you should not continue this pattern in your relationship. You know, this is actually also a good indication for you if you're dealing with a secure attachment style. Because with a secure attachment style man, you certainly don't have to lower your standards. He will actually rise to the occasion, right? He wants to be the king to your queen. He doesn't want to be the little boy that gets caught getting the cookie. Sure, is he going to try to get away with the path of least resistance, right? Yeah, of course. We all do. We all have this animalistic part inside of ourselves, right? However, it doesn't mean that that's actually what a man really wants long term. It just means like, hey, you know, that's what his lizard brain prefers, right? But there's other brains like the mammalian brain, prefrontal cortex, and so on, right? That's actually clearly saying, hey, I want so much more. I want to evolve. I want to grow. I want to contribute, right? I don't want to just get my needs for pleasure met, right? So those are some reasons why you should not lower your standards. And like I said before, what you should do instead is keep your standards high. Also, this is going to be a last note from me. Before I met my husband, I had a very clear list. And maybe one of these days I'm going to read it to you. But what I knew was he is dark hair, he has blue eyes, he's taller than me, yada, 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 all the stuff, right? So I had my high standards. And my friends would always say, hey, you have pretty high standards. Maybe you should lower your standards a little bit. Your bar is pretty high, right? But I said, hey, hold on. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this person. I will never date another guy again, right? Yes, you better have high standards. You know, this is like the only person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life if you're looking for a mutually exclusive monogamous relationship, right? And that also is really, really true. So don't let your girlfriends tell you to lower your standards. Maybe they lowered their standards. Maybe they settled for less, right? Maybe they're in a mediocre relationship. Don't fall for that. You know, keep your standards high. I'm a huge advocate of that. So I hope that was helpful for you. Now, if you like this video, also watch my free playlist course on how to get a man to chase you. Because of course, you have high standards. This is it for today. Don't forget, stay fabulous. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.